station lights glow pale and thin against the quiet midnight air. An old clock hums above the tracks, like time itself is waiting there. The platform holds 1,000 steps of travelers long since gone away, their stories drifting through the dark like echoes of a yesterday. Harmonica, melody, guitar. We stood here once beneath the rain while engines sang their iron song. Your hand was warm within my own, though something told us it was wrong. The whistle cried into the night, a lonely sound across the plain. And in that trembling moment's breath, our hearts stepped onto separate trains. Yet even now the midnight wind still calls your name to me. On the last train from Cedar Town, where fading lanterns glow, every road we left behind still waits beneath the snow. Love may travel far away beyond the hills we knew, yet every distant railway line still carries traces of you. Violin and an harmonica, the train arrives with weary sighs like tired wings returning home, and every window passing by reflects the lives we might have known. Perhaps the world is just a map of moments lost along the way, yet every station in the dark still keeps the words we couldn't say. Maybe love is like a train crossing endless lands, stopping for a moment, then slipping from our hands. On the last train from Cedar Town, where fading lanterns glow, every road we left behind still waits beneath the snow. Love may travel far away beyond the hills we knew, yet every distant railway line still carries traces of you. Ornamenta fading, soft guitar instrumental, train organs,
soft piano, night owns on some Lantolimo. The moon awakens silver fields where quiet grasses gently sway, and every star above the hills feels closer than the fading day. The meadow breathes a silent hymn of winds that wander far and wide. And somewhere in the velvet dark, your memory walks beside my stride. Cello and guitar, we once stood here beneath the sky, where fireflies danced in golden streams, and every whispered word we spoke felt like the beginning of our dreams. But time is like a drifting cloud across the open fields of blue. Still in the hush of midnight air, the stars remember me and you. And though the world keeps turning on, some moments softly stay. For the moonlight on the meadow still carries echoes through the night. Every dream we left behind still glimmers in its light. Love may wander far away through roads we cannot trace, yet the sky above these fields still holds your quiet grace. Begins its gentle song through branches bending in the dark, and every whisper through the leaves feels like a fragile glowing spark. Perhaps the heart is like the sky, too wide for time to truly bind. For every love that once was ours still drifts like starlight through the mind. Maybe love is just a moment written in the air, yet the stars keep shining long after it's not there. For the moonlight on the meadow still carries echoes through the night. Every dream we left behind still glimmers in its light. Love may wander far away through roads we cannot trace, yet the sky above these fields still holds your quiet grace. Cello and piano, cello. Acoustic guitar picking, soft harmonica, wind ambience. The mountain trail begins to win beyond the reach of crowded days. Each stone beneath my wandering feet recalls 1,000 ancient ways. The valley stretches far below, where rivers trace their silver lines. And somewhere in the fading light, your distant memory still shines. An icon guitar, the pine trees hum a quiet song carried softly through the air. like echoes from another life, still lingering somewhere. The road we walked has disappeared beneath the turning hands of time. Yet every step I take tonight still moves within your rhyme. Perhaps the wind remembers more than hearts are meant to know. Along the mountain trail tonight, where silent shadows roam, every path becomes a verse of roads that lead us home. Love may wander through the years like clouds across the sky, yet every star above these hills still hears our old goodbye. Violin, melody, guitar. The sky grows deep with scattered stars across the quiet mountain air, and every light upon the peaks feels like a lantern waiting there. Perhaps the heart is like the road, forever moving through the night, still guided by the distant glow of some remembered light. Maybe love was just a trail we walked for just a while, yet every stone along the way still carries back your smile. Along the mountain trail tonight, where silent shadows roam, every path becomes a verse of roads that lead us home. Love may wander through the years like clouds across the sky, yet every star above these hills still hears our old goodbye. Fading, soft guitar. Soft guitar picking, rain on distant streets. She might only well. The rain falls softly on the empty lane, like whispered stories in the dark. Lanterns glow along the quiet road, each one a fragile spark. I'll walk beneath their amber light, where memory drifts like autumn leaves. Your voice still lingers in the air, between the silence that it weaves. Fingerstyle guitar, soft piano. The night remembers every step of footsteps fading long ago, and every corner of this town still holds the love we used to know. The windows shine with distant warmth, but I am wandering through the past, where every breath of midnight wind feels like a moment meant to last. And though the years have carried us to distant shores unknown,
Still the lanterns glow in quiet rain, guiding hearts that roam alone through the echoes of forgotten songs and roads we once called home. Love may drift like passing clouds across the silver sky above, but every drop of falling rain still carries traces of our love. The city sleeps beneath the stars while memories wander through my mind. 1,000 nights have come and gone, yet something gentle stays behind. A fleeting smile, a whispered word, a shadow dancing in the flame, like distant bells across the hills, still softly calling out your name. Perhaps love was never meant to stay within our hands, like rivers flowing endlessly across forgotten lands. Yet every moment that we shared still shimmers in the night. Still the lanterns glow in quiet rain, guiding hearts that roam alone through the echoes of forgotten songs and roads we once called home. Love may drift like passing clouds across the silver sky above, but every drop of falling rain still carries traces of our love.
Soft piano, morning ambiance. The night begins to fade away beyond the hills of silver gray, and in the hush before the dawn, the world prepares another day. The sky unfolds a tender light across the quiet valley floor, and every beam upon the fields feels softer than the night before. Piano and guitar, we walk through many restless years where shadows move beside our dreams, yet every road that led us far still carried quiet, hopeful gleams. Though time may scatter distant hearts across the maps of who we are, the dawn still rises gently bright beyond the longest wandering star. For every night that once was ours still turns to morning light, where the morning light returns across the open sky. Every dream the night once held begins again to try. Love may wander far away beyond the years we knew, yet every dawn across the hills still softly sings. till a melody ten-stick guitar. The valley wakes with golden hues, where silent rivers slowly flow, and every breath of early wind feels like a truth the heart can know. Perhaps the soul is like the dawn, forever learning how to rise, where even after darkest nights new light appears in skies. Maybe love is like the sunrise, quiet, soft and true. Even when the night feels endless, morning comes for you. Where the morning light returns across the open sky, every dream the night once held begins again to try. Love may wander far away, beyond the years we knew, yet every dawn across the hills still softly sings of you. Cello strumming out, morning onlys fading.
Soft acoustic guitar and crackling campfire meals. The fire burns in quiet gold beneath the mountain's open sky, and every spark that drifts away feels like a star learning to fly. The night grows wide around the hills, where ancient pines begin to sway, and in the glow of fading flames, old stories find their way. We gathered here in younger days, with restless hearts and wandering plans, our laughter rising with the smoke across the darkened lands. But time moves like a patient wind across the trails we used to roam. Still every ember in the fire feels like a road that leads us home. Though miles may stretch between our lives, the echoes still remain. Sing the last campfire song tonight, where quiet memories stay. Every chord becomes a bridge to dreams that slipped away. Love may wander through the years, beyond the trails we knew, yet every flame within the dark still carries thoughts of you. acoustic guitar. The fire begins to settle low as midnight drifts across the land, and every shadow in the light feels like a ghost of where we stand. Perhaps the heart is like the flame, a fragile glow against the night, still burning with a gentle hope of one remembered light. Maybe love is like a campfire, bright but never long, yet the warmth it leaves behind still lingers in the song. Sing the last campfire song tonight, where quieted memories stay. Every chord becomes a bridge to dreams that slipped away. Love may wander through the years, beyond the trails we knew, yet every flame within the dark still carries thoughts of you. Soft guitar, campfire fading,
the ceiling knows my secrets better than you do. It's heard every unsent message I almost sent to you. My phone lights up the darkness like it's asking me to try, but pride is such a fragile thing, and so am I. There's something about the quiet that makes the truth appear. Daylight is for pretending, but honesty lives here. It's 3 a.m., honesty spilling over me. All the things I never said, all the things we couldn't be. If I called, would you answer, or let it fade to blue? It's funny how the bravest thoughts only come when I'm without you. Don't send it, don't send it. I rehearse imaginary conversations where we both get it right, where timing isn't broken and love survives the night. But reality is quieter, less cinematic than my head. You moved on in daylight, I'm still here instead. There's courage in confession, but peace in letting be. And I'm still choosing which one feels more like me. It's 3 a.m., honesty, raw and unrefined. We're missing you feels logical, and leaving feels unkind. If I knock on your memory, would it let me through? Or am I just a chapter you already outgrew? Ooh. Maybe it's release, maybe closure isn't answers, maybe it's just peace. I don't need to send a message to prove that what we had was real. Some feelings don't require the other heart to feel. I can miss you without chasing, I can ache and still be strong. I can let the night be honest without proving I was wrong. It's 3 a.m. honesty, but dawn is creeping in, and clarity looks different in the light of morning skin. I don't have to text you to validate the truth. Some loves are meant to shape you, not to stay with you. It's 3 a.m. and I'm finally sleeping. Snow falls quieter than goodbye ever did. I write your name in margins of a notebook by my bed. Ink bleeds like the memory of words we never said. The heater hums a lonely tune against the window pane. December keeps reminding me of love that turned to rain. We thought we'd last through seasons, through frost and summer skies, but winter has a way of showing what survives. These are winter letters I never meant to send, pages full of honesty I'm learning not to defend. Every line is closure, every tear set free. Some words are meant for healing, not for you to read. Let them fall like snow. Your scarf is in the hallway, still hanging where you left. I almost put it in a box, but I'm not ready yet. Outside the world is silver, soft and cold and wide. Inside I'm thawing slowly from everything we tried. I don't hate the winter or the way it made me see that love can be a chapter, not the whole story. These are winter letters written just for me, confessions in the quiet of who I'm meant to be. Every frozen promise melts eventually, and what was once a heartbreak becomes clarity. If I mailed these pages, would it change a thing? Or are they just reminders of the strength that endings bring? Snow doesn't ask forgiveness for covering the ground. It simply makes the broken look softer when it's found. Maybe love was beautiful even as it closed. Not every wilted flower means the garden's lost its rose. These are winter letters I'm finally letting go, folding up the past like footprints in the snow. Every silent sentence helped my heart believe some goodbyes are blessings in disguise as grief. Winter letters never sent, but heaven rain on the highway, blurring every sign. Headlights turn to halos in the rear view of my mind. Your name is on the dashboard in fingerprints of steam. I'm driving through the wreckage of a half-finished dream. We said we needed distance, like distance could repair. But miles don't fix a fracture, they just prove it's there. There's rain on the highway and static on the line. I'm leaving where we almost were, somewhere behind. Every mile between us feels heavier than before, but staying would have hurt even more. Let it wash away, let it fall. The radio keeps playing songs we used to know. Funny how the smallest chords can undo letting go. I roll the window halfway, let the cold air in, trying to convince myself this is where I win. Maybe love's not measured by who stays the longest. Maybe walking away is sometimes strongest. There's rain on the highway, but clarity in me. I can finally see what we couldn't be. Every tear the sky cries feels honest and true. The storm outside is softer than losing you. If I turn this car around, would we change the past? Or would we just keep breaking something built to never last? I loved you in the best way I knew how at the time, but love that asks for shrinking is never truly mine. The rain keeps falling steady, like it understands. Some endings are just mercy, disguised as open hands. There's rain on the highway, but dawn is up ahead. Not every road we travel is meant to be misread. Every mile is healing, every breath is new. The storm was never ending me, it was ending you. didn't expect to see you. You were standing by the doorway, like a ghost I used to know. Same quiet smile you carried in a life from long ago. We said hello too softly, like the past might overhear. Two people full of history, pretending it's not here. Your voice still sounds familiar, but the silence in between feels wider than the distance of everywhere we've been. We almost tried again. I saw it in your eyes, a fragile little maybe hiding in disguise. For a moment we were standing on the edge of what once grew, but almost isn't always something hard should do. Almost. Talked about the weather and the years that slipped away like strangers, carefully avoiding what we used to say. Your laugh was still the same one that once undid my guard, but echoes don't mean futures and memories are hard. Time didn't break us loudly, it just slowly rearranged two hearts that once were perfect into people who had changed. We almost tried again, but the timing felt unsure, like reopening a window in a house without a door. Every glance was asking if we'd risk the truth again, but sometimes love survives best by staying where it's been. If we rewrote every chapter, would the ending stay the same? Would we find a brand new rhythm or repeat the old refrain? Maybe love remembered us better than we could. Maybe what we had before was already understood. Not every almost ending needs a second chance to mend. Some stories stay beautiful because they never bend. We almost tried again, but maybe that's enough to know our hearts once held a kind of fearless love, and walking in opposite directions didn't make it untrue. Some loves don't last forever, but they last inside of you. We almost tried again. Too quiet. Your sweater still draped on the chair, like you're coming back for it soon. Dust settles softly on memories that still hum your favorite tune. I didn't know how loud love was until it disappeared. The silence after you walked out was the loudest thing I've heard. I used to breathe in rhythm with the rise and fall of you. Now every single exhale feels like learning something new. I'm learning to breathe alone without your hand in mine, learning how to let the night pass without a sign. Every memory trembles, but I'm steady on my own. I never knew how strong I was till I breathed alone. Inhale, let it hurt. Exhale, let it go. The mirror doesn't recognize the girl I used to be. She built a world around your name. Now she's rebuilding me. I rearranged the furniture so echoes wouldn't stay. Shifted all the fragile things that spelled out yesterday. I thought love was oxygen, something I would lose, but maybe it's a muscle we decide to use. I'm learning to breathe alone through midnight's heavy air, letting every broken thought unravel into prayer. Every tear that falls tonight is proof that I have grown. I never knew how brave I'd be, learning on my own. Maybe hearts don't shatter, maybe they expand, making space for futures we don't yet understand. Maybe losing you is finding something truer, a version of myself, a little softer, stronger, newer. I loved you like forever, but forever changed its tone. And somewhere in the breaking, I found a backbone. I'm breathing on my own now, and it doesn't feel the same. But different doesn't mean I have to drown in pain. Every lonely sunrise is a seed that has been sown. I never knew how free I'd be, learning to breathe alone. Inhale, exhale. I'm breathing. Inhale, exhale. Morning slowly fills the silence where the night once held my heart, like a quiet understanding that it's time for us to part. Every shadow fades to silver, every dream begins to clear, and the sky above the city feels a little brighter here. I remember how you held me on the edge of summer rain, how we thought that love was something nothing ever could contain. But the seasons kept on turning like a truth we couldn't see. Sometimes a love becomes a memory before it sets you free. Still the echoes of your laughter drift like music through my mind, but the road ahead is calling. forgiveness in the silence, waiting gently at the door. All the nights I spent remembering every word we couldn't keep now dissolve into the daylight like a promise waking from sleep. Maybe love was just a moment, like the passing of a song, but it taught my heart a language that will carry me along. Where the morning finally finds me in the quiet after you, where the sky feels wide and endless and the world begins anew, where the broken pieces slowly turn to something soft and true, and the light of new tomorrow shines where once I only knew you. If the wind should bring your memory through the corners of my days, I will smile and keep on walking through the light of changing ways. Because love is not a prison or a promise carved in stone. Sometimes hearts must learn to wander just to find their way back home. Where the morning finally finds me past the dreams we couldn't keep, where forgiveness turns to silence into something warm and deep, and though echoes of your heartbeat still remain in shades of blue, I will walk into the sunrise carrying the best of you. And the morning keeps on rising, soft and golden through the sky, like a quiet new beginning, whispering it's time to try. So the story keeps on breathing, like the dawn of something new, where the morning finally finds me somewhere far beyond missing you. We were a sentence left unfinished, hanging softly in the air. Every look a quiet question, every touch a careful dare. We memorized each other's breathing like a language never learned, standing close enough for magic, far enough to not get burned. You said timing was a river flowing where it wants to be, but rivers don't ask permission when they're pulling at the sea. Almost was enough to break me, almost was enough to stay. We were everything but certain, one brave word away. We were dancing on the border of what we couldn't trust. Sometimes almost feels like forever, even when it turns to dust. I still replay the kitchen silence where your hand brushed into mine. We both felt the world shifting, but we blamed it on the wine. We were masters of avoidance, poets of the unsaid, building castles out of glances, letting real love go instead. If courage had a heartbeat, would it sound like yours that night, when you almost pulled me closer, then surrendered to the fright? not the weight of something true. Maybe we were safer dreaming than discovering me and you. Still I wonder in the quiet if you ever think the same. If almost ever whispers like a half-forgotten name almost was enough to change me, enough to let me see that love is sometimes bravery and sometimes letting be. We were beautiful and fleeting, like light before it fades. Almost was enough to hurt, but not enough to stay. Almost was enough. I'm still healing, so be gentle. I still flinch at sudden silence, still brace for doors to close. My heart remembers storms even when the sky looks calm and rose. You found me in the aftermath of something I survived, smiling like I'm fearless, but I'm fragile deep inside. I'm learning how to trust again, but slowly is the key if you're gonna love me. Be gentle with me. I'm still mending seams, still waking from the echo of unfinished dreams. Hold my hand like glass, like something meant to be. If you're gonna stay, be gentle with me. Softly, slowly, I don't need dramatic promises or fireworks in the dark, just honesty that lingers like a steady kind of spark. I've had love that felt like thunder, loud and burning bright. Now I'm craving something that feels like morning light. There's courage in beginning when you've known goodbye. So if we're turning pages, let's not rush the wine. Be gentle with me when I hesitate, when old ghosts are whispering that this will end the same. Trace my doubts with patience until they finally ease. If you're going to love me gently, please. I don't need saving, I saved myself before. But loving someone softly is something I adore. Show me that forever doesn't have to shout, that safety can be certain without any doubt. Maybe love is quieter than what I knew before. Maybe it's not breaking but becoming something more. Be gentle with me and I'll give you truth, not the guarded version, not the armored youth. I'll meet you in the open, where fear no longer leads. If you're going to love me, be gentle with me. You were a sentence left unfinished, hanging softly in the air. Every look a quiet question, every touch a careful dare. We memorized each other's breathing, like a language never learned. Standing close enough for magic, far enough to not get burned. You said timing was a river flowing where it wants to be, but rivers don't ask permission when they're pulling at the sea. Almost was enough to break me, almost was enough to stay. We were everything but certain, one brave word away. We were dancing on the border of what we couldn't trust. Sometimes almost feels like forever, even when it turns to dust. Still replay the kitchen silence, where your hand brushed into mine. We both felt the world shifting, but we blamed it on the wine. We were masters of avoidance, poets of the unsaid, building castles out of glances, letting real love go instead. If courage had a heartbeat, would it sound like yours that night, when you almost pulled me closer, then surrendered to the fright? Almost was enough to haunt me, enough to feel so real, enough to leave an echo. Time refuses to heal. We were standing in the doorway of what we could have been, but almost never opens, and it never lets you in. The weight of something true. Maybe we were safer dreaming than discovering me and you. Still I wonder in the quiet if you ever think the same, if almost ever whispers like a half-forgotten name. Almost was enough to change me, enough to let me see that love is sometimes bravery, and sometimes letting be. We were beautiful and fleeting, like light before it fades. Almost was enough to hurt, but not enough to stay. Almost was enough. I was younger then. I loved like every ending was a test I had to pass. Held on to broken pieces like they were made of glass. I thought if I was patient, if I gave a little more, I could turn a closing window into an open door. But loving isn't fixing, and staying isn't brave. Sometimes walking softly is the strongest choice you make. I'm forgiving who I was for not knowing any better, for mistaking almost love for something meant forever, for the nights I blame my heart for breaking when it should. I'm forgiving who I was. She loved the best she could. She loved the best she could. I used to wear my silence like a medal on my chest, calling it resilience while ignoring all the rest. I let my worth be measured by who chose to stay, like someone else's leaving could take my light away. But hindsight is a mirror, gentler than regret. It shows you all the lessons without the silhouette. I'm forgiving who I was for every tear she cried, for the hope she kept defending even when it lied, for believing love was something she had to overprove. I'm forgiving who I was, so I can finally move. If I met her in a hallway, that girl from long ago, I'd hold her hands and tell her there's so much she doesn't know. I'd say you're not too fragile, you're not too much to hold. The ones who couldn't keep you just were meant to be your home. Growth is just a softer name for breaking into light, and every wrong direction still taught my heart what's right. I'm forgiving who I was, and thanking her as well for daring to believe in love. Even when it fell, she carried me through. best she could. The best she could. Neon flickers, no one notices. There's 1,000 windows glowing and buildings I don't know. Every silhouette has someone, but I'm walking home alone. Taxi lights like shooting stars disappear too fast. This city keeps on moving like it's outrunning its past. I thought a crowded skyline would quiet what I feel, but loneliness gets louder when everything is real. It's a city full of strangers, and I'm one of them tonight, blending into sidewalks under artificial light. Every face is passing like a wave against the shore. Funny how you can feel invisible in a crowd of thousands more. Strangers like me. The cafe on the corner still closes at the same time. I sit beside the window, watching other people's lives. I wonder if they're searching for something they can't name, or if I'm the only one here playing memory games. I used to think that distance was measured just in miles, but you can stand beside someone and still feel exiled. It's a city full of strangers, mirrors in disguise, everyone protecting what's behind their eyes. Every heart is carrying a story never shown. Maybe we're not lonely, maybe we're unknown. Maybe I'm not missing you, maybe I'm missing who I was before the skyline turned my sky from blue. Maybe this is growing, standing on my own, learning how to build a life that feels like home alone. Neon doesn't scare me, silence doesn't win. I'm finding quiet strength in the noise I'm living in. It's a city full of strangers, but I'm not lost anymore. Every step is leading me somewhere I haven't been before. I don't need familiar hands to tell me I belong. Sometimes being on your own is where you grow strong. City full of strangers, but I'm not afraid. Rain on the highway, blurring every sign. halos in the rear view of my mind. Your name is on the dashboard and fingerprints of steam. I'm driving through the wreckage of a half-finished dream. We said we needed distance, like distance could repair. But miles don't fix a fracture, they just prove it's there. There's rain on the highway and static on the line. I'm leaving what we almost were, somewhere behind. Every mile between us feels heavier than before, but staying would have hurt even more. Let it wash away, let it fall. Keeps playing songs we used to know. Funny how the smallest chords can undo letting go. I roll the window halfway, let the cold air in, trying to convince myself this is where I win. Maybe love's not measured by who stays the longest. Maybe walking away is sometimes strongest. There's rain on the highway, but clarity in me. I can finally see what we couldn't be. Every tear the sky cries feels honest and true. Storm outside is softer than losing you. If I turn this car around, will we change the past? Or will we just keep breaking something built to never last? I loved you in the best way I knew how at the time. The love that asks for shrinking is never truly mine. The rain keeps falling steady, like it understands. Some endings are just mercy, disguised as open hands. There's rain on the highway, but dawn is up ahead. Not every road we travel is meant to be misread. Every mile is healing, every breath is new. The storm was never ending me, it was ending you. Rain on highway, rain on the highway, washing us away.